And welcome to the second session of High Vibe Channeling. And this will be an exciting and lovable session with the hybrid children who are very excited about coming in. I'm sensing there is a particularly large group this time. So, I mean, it sounds like they're already having a party, which is not unusual, but it's unusual for me to feel that energy before we even get started. So we'll see what happens, and thank you all for joining. And again, I'm Ray Heitman. Let's have some fun. Uncle Ray, everybody loves a good party. Everybody. There is nobody who does not love a good party. And even the introverts like a good party. They like to leave it early, but they still like having that little bit of exposure that's nice for them within their tolerances. And we are having a gangbusters of a party. There is lots of excitement going on, and there is a reason for it, but we do not know that it would communicate to you because it does not meet any chronology or any skill level attainment or anything like that. It is just all of these energies got together, just decided to be happy and to have a party. And that is what is going on. And that energy is just circling and rising and migrating. And it is going everywhere. And it will it is attracting a lot of attention for adding their joyous energy to it. There is really nothing that we can compare it to on your planet. But yes, there is more play going on and more singing and more joyous celebrations than you can have as individuals or as groups, because even when you have non-physical entities contributing energy to you, or where your higher selves come in and are more physicalized when you are a lighter form of density and add their energy to it, while that does create some massive happenings and memories and uh, camaraderie amongst you humans when you celebrate victories or those sorts of things, major achievements. This is something which eclipses them all. It is just a raucous time of fun where everything else is besides the point or not even registering. It is all just the fun and the merriment. It is like a merriment ball of energy, a joyful exuberance, which we are all tapping into and being part of and playing with in as many different ways as we can. And each one of those coincides with the way that somebody else is doing theirs. And it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about adding, it fits in marvelously. It is a huge synchronous exhibit. And this is something that has happened before, but this is rather new for us to try to communicate this. We're not even sure that other beings are involved in this in the way that we are. This is part of us. It is part of our joyous energy which we are sharing. And since it is part of our sharing, it is all our natural expression being realized in a very intertwined and energetic and almost compulsory way. None of us would ever think of wishing for this particular exercise or enjoyment or party time to abate or even fade. We just like it to keep going and going and going. It's a marvelous thing. And we have taken time out because this is important too. And although it does take some concentration, because most of our minds are focused on other things. And the teachers aren't really involved other than filling in some of the parts which keep things flowing. They may be adding some of their synchronous behavior, our thoughts, our energies, to help stir things up, perhaps. We're not sure, and we really don't care because we are just focused on playing with what we perceive. And since we perceive so much and we have so much brain power, it is really quite exhilarating to be having all of this energy expanded and to have it realized and to have so much joy in the air in and because we are all together, and maybe the physical closeness has something to do with it, but we are really a sphere of enjoyment, of divine base energy, of love expressed through laughter and jubilous, if that's the right word, or if that is a word. It is a jubilee of togetherness and happy hearts and exaltations. We're working on our words too. You guys got a lot of them, and you don't even use hardly any of them. But that's all right. We need to be prepared. Okay, we have spoken a little bit, although it did not come out very well for the way that we interpret. But there's only so much that we can do with what you have to work with. And that is not a slant or a slight. It is just a mark of the differences between our reality and our attributes and biology and yours. But it is time for you to share some of your thoughts with us so that we can incorporate them and play with them too. Feed us.
Welcome. It is an absolute joy to have you with us today.
Oh,
When you
thank
tune
you.
your consciousness into our room and our collective right now, what does our energy taste, sound, or feel like to you?
Wouldn't know. We just do not have that type of energy which is compatible with us. We know of it like you would know what it is like to possibly experience a snake bite, even though you haven't been bitten. You know what it is like from other things. So we know of it, but we do not experience it. And that is
Mhm.
part of our upbringing and part of our purity of vibrational resonance. Now, we will have some of those things when we come earthside, and we will be experienced those in a more personal role. But for now, no, there's none of that. Even when the lights go off, we're still hilarious and we're still together and mentally engaged. So there's really no darkness here. And that is one of the, we won't really say it's a secret to our vibrational capabilities because that's the way that we're made. But when you guys get to be so happy and joyous, and somebody calls you a name and it doesn't bother you at all, well, you have some type of analogy there of what it is like for us because the dark energies just don't matter. They don't really exist for us because we know they're not real and we know they can't affect us. So sticks and stones and dark energy can hurt you, but they just don't exist for us. So they can't touch us.
What advice would you give to a sad human child?
We would say, do you remember you are love? And that is all you are? And that when you are this love, You came to experience things which are not love, to help you appreciate love even more. And this is one of those things, but it will pass. And then we would make some sort of biological reference of things which pass from their bodies that would be which would be something that they would find silly, that they would appreciate and would help take them out of their thoughts for the moment. A sidetrack, which is always really good with kids, for the human kids anyway, because they kind of have a one track mind. They can't keep all of those things um, in play at the same time. So if little Johnny or little Debbie or little Aramund um, hit somebody on the head with a toy, well, that will hurt and they will be upset. And they are not thinking about anything else. They're not thinking about being hungry. They're not thinking about, I want to have that, I want to wear the blue outfit tomorrow. Or they aren't thinking that, oh, my grandparents are coming in 3 days. They are just thinking about the now moment. They are really good about that. So when you distract them and when you tell them that they are all right, they know innately that they are. They have not been conditioned into patterns of behavior to believe that they aren't, that the good things won't last, like so many of the humans have. So, in the way we would do that, but we would also be amping them up with our energy, and we would be able to massage their thoughts in ways. And we would know why they were upset or whatever they were feeling. So we would be able to address that in a more concrete way, whereas a lot of the humans just have to guess. Now, it's easy. The child holds his hand out and he's got a sticker in it, or, a quill, or a cactus thorn, or something like that. Well, then it's pretty easy to figure that out. But for the most part, you guys have to assume the psychological parts. You just look for physical causes, and then you tell them what they are feeling. Oh, did he hurt your feelings? And so they know that they can associate that with hurt. And then when they hurt, they assume that it's a feeling. Well, there's just lots of things which occur on your planet which you are not aware of. And parenting styles will change greatly because will all be built on lifting children up and not giving them those patterns of behavior, which they will have to unlearn. All of you in this group have had to unlearn the behaviors which you were taught. Now, some of you had freer parental roles. So there may not have been so much unlearning to do as for others. But all of you had it to some extent. You were taught things, and then as you got older, you're like, that's not the way that it is. It doesn't have to be that way. And you start understanding that there are other ways and there are choices, and that those choices lead to other things which can happen and realizations. That will be the impetus of rearing your children in the future, because you will also have all of these telepathic beings connecting with them, heading off that kind of stuff, and they will still have their choices. But they can make those choices in a more informed basis. If they go and they say, oh, well, I'm going to go take that toy from this other kid. And then we can remind them that, that is a valid choice, but there are consequences for that behavior. And if you think back to the other times when you did that, then you can make a better conscious choice of what you wish to do. And that empowerment in that moment changes the child because they understand not only the consequences of what happened to them, but the consequences of what happened to the other beings who were involved. And that is a new concept, a new paradigm for your planet, because you have a history of just reacting according to your own needs and what you felt. And that's where you have all of these misconceptions of, oh, he did this to me, and I am feeling this because of this. In the future, it will be, well, this happened, and I have delved into why this happened because I know that I created it in expression with these other beings. And it was for me to learn something from it. And that is a completely different outlook. And how the and humans will react and choose how they react. And when they are joyful, they will, and we say joyful, but we mean exponentially joyful and pure of heart, or purer of heart, then they can react in a more loving way. And that love changes people. Love only, our transformation only happens with love. And we love that phrase. That came from Emmanuel and is stuck in Uncle Ray's head because he loves that phrase too. Whew, that was a lot of words. We hope it carried some meaning.
It was beautiful. We talk a lot about following our highest excitement as a compass, but you guys live and breathe it effortlessly. What does an excited day look like in your reality, and how can we bring a little bit more of that hybrid playtime energy into our daily routines?
Do we really have to tell you?
Play more?
Play more, play more, play more, play more. All the time, no matter what you do. Sing and dance. You got to sweep the floors? Well, sing with your mop, swing with your broom. I mean, you can sing to them, you can dance with them, and you can say, "Come on, Mr. Dustpan, it's time for your meal." You can play and do all kinds of stuff, no matter how gross the task is. I mean, many of you do that with babies. They will fill up a diaper and you will say, "Oh my gosh, you really overdid yourself this time. You invented a new stink factory. Woohoo!" And you can kind of play with that because you know that energy affects the baby. But if you go in there and you say, "Holy shit, child, what the heck are you doing to me?" then that creates a different energy. And you learn from that because the child has a different reaction to that. So that was kind of a messy example, but we think we got our point across. P.U. Smell the joy coming out of this one. Did
You are
that?
the future we are all building toward together. As we stand here on the ground holding the space for open contact, what message or reminder, apart from play more, do you have from your side of the veil for the humans working to bring our families together?
Yes, because you know how maintaining the highest vibration works. You know that it attracts like a magnet. But you have to keep reminding yourselves to hold those kind of high vibrational thoughts. And the future Pleiadians had a masterful and moving meditation yesterday, and it was focused on us. It was focused on our energy, and it was represented in a visionary experience of you and all humans actually just being in the midst of children who are just playing and laughing and having a great time. And there is no conflict and there is no bruised knees or anything like that. And it just goes on and on. And you are just overjoyed because you're experiencing all of this joy, all of this madness. And it is just exhilarating to see all of these children interacting so joyously and over and asking so many questions and forming groups and inviting new other ones in it and exploring more and sharing wonders and what they like and enjoy and laughing and playing and being silly. And it just goes on for an extended period. And then they pulled the surprise. They said, "You are one of those kids. So go out and play." And imagine that you are doing that with them and no longer just observing. And we urge you to go and to listen to that and to do that 2 or 3 times a day. Because if you get to that vibration and you do it repeatedly, 6 times a day would be better because then that energy will carry you from one session to the next. And it can be a 3 or a 4 or a 5 minute meditation. And that is kind of tough to work into your days where you are besieged by all these things which have to be done. And some of them are more timely, and some of them require logistics. But if you can work that out to where you can get to that point where you can re energize yourself on a regular basis with that high energy, especially ones that are focused on the enjoyment of others, of large groups, because that energy will ripple from you and echo for a long time, and it will impact others as well as your countenance. So that is really the secret. The higher you amp yourself up and the more consistently you can do so, the more you will impact others around you. And they will feel good for what they may consider no good reason. They are just happy. And let them wonder. Help them celebrate that. It's because you're such a good person. Or you can make up something to bond with them and just say, "Hey, if you need an uplift, just come over here. I got plenty." And that sort of thing. And we hope that we didn't explain it as well as the future Pleiadians did. But if you listen to that video, you will find, and it is very short, it doesn't take long, but we wish for it to take a long time so you can stay uppity up in your vibration for a long time. And thanks for asking, because that's important. But it has to do with your mental focus and it has to do with your continuity of achieving that level and staying there within tolerances, we will say. And part of that is not avoiding the negative aspects of your reality, but in framing them or reframing them so they are more positive, even if they are undesirable in ways.
It seems easier for extroverts to uplift others than introverts. What advice would you give introverts to help uplift others?
They are not introverts. That is a misnomer. They certainly exhibit those qualities to earn them that label. But if they go into their beliefs, they will find that the beliefs help keep them enclosed. Now, all humans need some solitary time, even the extroverts. Even if they fulfill those roles and they like that, they will still have time where if they have too many people around that they kind of get uncomfortable and they seek for ways to excuse themselves. Now, the introverts, all humans are meant to bond. They are all meant to be egregious. And we're not sure if that's the right word, but in interacting. Gregarious. That's what it is. That's completely opposite. So appreciate the correction. And they have something in their past which is helping to keep them from those interactions. Now, some people are wired differently and the noise can be too much. The travel may not be um, something that is worthwhile for them, regardless of the payoff at the end. Or there may be exposed to other energies which are uncomfortable for them. But the reason those energies are uncomfortable for them is because they have beliefs which enable them to associate that emotion with those situations. Now, and Uncle Ray knows this, but he is an introvert. And people have a hard time believing that. Because when he was small, which was he was for the majority of his life before he went to college, and people would pick on him because he was small. And he had to learn how to escape and to be comfortable with all people. He is still rather shy around the female sex. And we aren't working with him on that. He needs to solve that one on his own. But yes, but he was led to a position in restaurant management. And although he was shy, the impulse to do the best job he could was stronger because he was trapped in a pattern of blindly following authority, no matter what, because that was the household rules. And those are the management styles of many of the individuals, the patriarchy who stuffs their emotions and is not very well balanced mentally or emotionally in that way. But because of that, he knew that he had expectations of him where he had to perform. And he said, well, I cannot do that based on this reality, based on this personality type. So I am going to have to establish a different personality type that will help me achieve the goals which are expected of me. And he kind of pushed his shyness off to the side and let his humor come out. And it was a great fit because that's how he learned. And he can say that, oh, it's because he's a Leo, but he is a very sociable individual. He needs those interactions for his biological and mental stability. And you guys all do a wonderful job of helping him get from one session to the next because there are periods of time where he does not interact with people. And those are times which can be a little more difficult for him because he craves that type of interaction. And because he no longer is that introvert in his mind. And if he was, then he would cherish those times. But he worked hard to overcome that stigmatism, we will say. And so now he doesn't wish to go back because he knows that is not the role which is for him in the future. So the introverts need to go and see, we came back to that. The introverts really need to go and figure out why they wish to be by themselves or with a small group where they feel comfortable. And then it will be a period of acclimation to expand those because those closely held beliefs are part of their identity now. And some of them are most likely for good reason, but many of them may not be. They may no longer serve except to isolate. And we're glad that that makes some sense to you. And we are glad that Uncle Ray is not all that shy about us giving his personal details.
I'm sure there's parallels with others in the group too. I think that's all the questions from us. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Make a plan for a party to celebrate the new you because you are all growing, and do something nice for yourself. Make yourself a nice card, and then, maybe get a little cupcake or a piece of fruit or whatever brings you joy, and then set that out there. And even if you do it for yourself, and then when you sit down, and then you could say, "Oh, this is for me. I feel special." And that will help, and that will reinforce. And the beings who are around you and with you will help with that. So you will get more bang for your buck when you do those little things for yourself and you make a point, make an intent, and you follow through with that physical action to actually do something little nice and out of the way to make yourself a little bit happier, to treat yourself special. And we're not saying that, oh boy, I love myself, so I'm going to eat this whole pie. No, that's not it. It's doing something small for yourself. And you don't have to fool yourself, but just do it and sit down and appreciate that someone has thought of you and done this for you. Even if it's you, you deserve that specialness. And we're
That's
going to
wonderful
go
advice.
continue our specialness. And you are all special. And you are all in our hearts and in our special hearts too. And we wish for you to come and be part of our gigantic, energetic party ball of love and excitement and exhilaration and all kinds of good stuff. And that's what we're going to go back to. But we appreciate you making this time for us. And it is party time. And so celebrate your own, and we will go, and we'll come back. We'll come back in a couple of weeks. Woo, we can't stay away. And bye for now, Gray. Oh,
Their energy is wonderful.
oh, they had a ball. I'm thinking it was 80, 90 feet across a sphere. So I'm guessing 27, 29 meters. And apparently gravity was not an issue because there were literally all kinds of kids in this sphere ball. And they were laughing and playing and bumping into each other and sending thoughts, and people would catch the thoughts and manipulate them. And it was just madness of an intensely enjoyable degree. And I didn't know that they ever did that. That never came to me
I
before.
hope we get to have a go at that at some point.
But it was, and I'm thinking that's what the future Pleiadians based that meditation off of, was all of these children, because they were tapping into that, and they kind of hinted that, yeah, that's where they got that idea, and they expressed that. Or maybe it was the other way around. But it all happened simultaneously, so who knows? Boy, and they were kind of rough on the introverts, weren't they? You just think you're an introvert. You're not. You're gregarious. You're just keeping yourself down. Like, wow.
Mm, mm,
Rough psychology. I loved what they said, though, about the sad children.
mhm,
Masters
mhm,
and Johnson would have been proud of that. I don't remember what they said. I just remember being just so saying, oh my gosh, that's so insightful.
mhm.
And the image they had, they said, Yeah, we're just going to pretend that this whole situation is a booger and we're just going to pick it and we're going to go wipe it on somebody. And then they just pictured the little kid just cracking up at this absurdity of taking this whole thing and putting it into a booger and giving it to somebody else. And it just made them bubble up and laugh again because they remembered more of who they are. That playful energy. Yeah, I'm excited about going back through this one. Any comments from Anan or Rachel? And again, it's not required. It's just that I'm not an introvert anymore, at least in acting. Golly, they narked me out.
Their energy is amazing. Every time they speak, I can just feel it.
I'm so glad. And it is. It really is.
Ray, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How long does their energy last in your system?
It depends. Um, because they never leave me, Rachel. They're
Mhm,
always with me, observing. They're not pumping me up. They're more of I'm a classroom for them because I'm being led to do certain things and have certain experiences which help them
mhm.
as well as me. So, I mean, I get hyped up to no end, and most of the time it's so loving that I just overflow in tears.
Mm.
And then after a while, I'm just happy, but it does take some of my energy from time to time. But that's more, it doesn't really hit me until I focus on other things like my 3D world. And I think
But
maybe those are incongruent.
but after a channeling session,
Hmm.
because you've, I guess, resonated with their energy specifically, how long does that energy sit in your body? Like, because it would be quite heightened now. That's does that happen? That's my question.
Well, yeah, um, I don't know that there's any pat answer, Rachel, but let's say 15 to 20 minutes.
Mhm,
But it depends on what else is going on. Usually, every time that I know I'm going to channel, I get 6 hours or less of sleep. Not
mhm,
consciously, but and I think I have less energetic resistance of my body when I'm tired. And then it's easier for them to come through. Now, that's my theory. I've never really asked. I guess that would be a good question. But like the mantis energy, as soon as they left, oh my gosh, I was drained. I felt like I had on an extra skin suit or something, and it slowed down all of my processes, and it was uncomfortable. But like the future Pleiadians, when they leave, I'm just really grateful, but I really don't have a tremendous uplift of energy like I do with the hybrid children. Now, it might last 5 or 10 minutes just because I'm in awe. All of this energy and all of this wonderful wisdom and loving expression just fly out of my face, and I don't have to do anything, but relax and let it happen. And that's just, I don't know how I can explain it. It's like having everybody almost worshiping you just because you exist. You don't really have to do anything.
mhm,
And then, people find value in that. So that's uplifting in itself. So when I do that, and a lot of time, like yesterday, oh my gosh, after the Future Pleiadians did that session, that little short meditation that the hybrid children were just talking about, I just knew how much that it could impact people, and the fact that it had value and was so well done. I just cried because it was just such a loving expression, and it was so selfless and just given freely, and it was so effective. And then when I went back to it today, it was the same thing, because I was posting it and I was editing it and a couple of the different Facebook pages. And I was just overwhelmed that, I'm enabling this because of these connections. And it makes all of the trials and tribulations from the first 60 years of my life worth it. Because up until that time, it wasn't. I told my higher self, I'm like, look, if I had to do all this over again, I'm not. This has just been a struggle and a challenge. And I know it, maybe it was me not learning stuff on a timely basis, so I had to suffer longer. But did
Yeah,
that,
thank you.
okay. I hope that
Yeah, it
helped.
did. No, it did, and it's nice when you can like resonate at that higher vibration, I guess.
Yeah, and it and
And
it
feel the differences of energies. Yeah.
yeah, and
Do
I'm
you
glad you
notice it,
guys can
Rachel?
too. What's that?
Do
Oh,
you notice it, Rachel, when you channel?
Yeah, yeah, I do. And sometimes I'm just flogged. I'm in a daze, like Ray was saying, and other times I just feel so much love and joy. It's beyond that actually. It's bliss. And I'm in tears as well. So it's just interesting, like how the energy will work. And like Ray said, um, they're always around, and sometimes you tune in better, but they're always there, but the energy's different. So I was just curious, yeah, how Ray manages that energy
yeah,
or experiences it.
and I've never really dissected how much of it might be to, my mental thoughts on what needs to be done or how my body feels or my energetic level, because I'm almost always relaxed and somewhat tired before I start channeling this time of night. But I get hyped. Like I bring in the hybrid children before I do my audio recordings because I want that extra energy into my recordings. And hello, Agnieszka. We just wrapped up the hybrid children channeling for the second session, but appreciate you getting up in the middle of the night for us. But yeah, and as you mentioned, Rachel, then there are so many other factors that bleed in. I've never really thought about, what affects it, what brings it down, what keeps it stable. Obviously being thankful and grateful for having these opportunities. Agnieszka, that's fine. Whatever's best for you. She's on family mute. But yeah, and it differs with different beings. How many different entities would you say you channel, Rachel?
I prefer to stick with what I know. I'm not, yeah, I've done it before when I was younger, and I brought in all sorts of things. So I don't. I've been told I'm an open channel. So yeah, I'm quite cautious now. But I was quite young then, and there was, I guess, less awareness of this back then too. I mean, I'm talking over 20 years ago.
Must be time to restart, right? You were led here.
Yeah,
When you're
yeah.
comfortable, and we'll just keep asking you over and over, and you're finally going to say, I'm comfortable. Leave me alone.
But it is a beautiful process, and when I watch you, I understand the energy, what's going around with the head, the neck. Yeah, it's you can because yeah, it's more consuming energy. So thank you.
Yeah, and I view my job as to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
And I do almost all of them I can prompt with questions. And some of them mention it, and some of them just respond and just give details about themselves. And some of them I'm just totally blocked off from,
Mm.
like the spirit of the Neanderthal. And that other one that came through on that open invitation, I got nothing. Usal's friend. They were I was shushed. I couldn't utter a mental thought. I just was, they were just coming through and that was it. And I was tongue-tied mentally until they got ready to leave. And then I asked them how we would call them back in. So yeah, it's all different. And I know it all helps. It's all helped building my repertoire of energies and stabilizing them. Because, like, when I think back to the first time that I tried the future Pleiadians, I was being jerked around. Like, I had three bullies, and one of them was pulling on one arm, and one was pulling on the other one, and the other one had me by the back of the shirt, and they were just yanking me this way and this way. And I was just focused on keeping that hand, the palm of my hand on my left knee.
Mm.
And I was jerking around, and yeah, it was wild. And then it took me several minutes to regain full physical function. And then, like the third time I did it, I was jerking around, and then the next thing I knew, I was sitting on the couch petting my dog. And I'm like,
Wow.
what the hell? Because I knew that I hadn't come out of it. And because I was wondering how long it took me to do that. And then Anthony and Annika, I said, hey, what was that? Because he came to one of our sessions that night or the next night. And he said, do you want to know where you were? And I'm like, because I was saying, hey, what happened there? I missed like a half hour of time. And he's like, yeah, they took you to their ship. It's
Oh,
like, wow, yes. And so I was on their ship and they were working with me so I could handle more energies and or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's freaky. Yeah,
awesome.
Anthony, and if you haven't followed any of the on board with the Pleiadians with Starshine and Anthony Anonica, they are fabulous. And you will connect with the Pleiadians by doing that.
I've tuned in with them. I quite like them actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Anthony, he came to us in early 2025, because he's
Mm.
in Japan.
Busy.
So it would be Monday morning for him as well, just like it is for you guys. Well, it's Friday morning here for you guys. And so he would come in after his kid was at school or whatever, and he would just pop in and have some conversation. Most of the time, he would just give us some personal messages from our guides or whatever, or a lesson. And that was one of the things that we got. I think that he actually gave that meditation in a group that was meeting on Fridays, which dissolved. But yeah, if I can find that video, but I don't think I have it because it wasn't my recording. So
He's a very strong channeler.
he's so crisp and clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Just
somebody said,
so,
yeah, it's like everybody else is like, a sound bowl or something like that. And he's up there with this little crystal bell and he's going, and Anthony's like that too. And he's been having those types of experiences since he was like 2 or 3.
Mm.
So this has been a lifelong preparation for him. And it's still going to go. Yep. And we'll be connecting with them and they'll be coming down and connecting with us because they're definitely part of the landing party. It's cool. But I generally sleep really well after channeling though. Well, I sleep really well for the most time, all the time. And my body's balking at that always, even though I said generally. But it it just depends. So much depends. But thanks for asking, Rachel.
No, thanks for answering. I just yeah, I just resonate with it, that's all. And it's quite exciting to see in others.
Yeah, and a lot of times I have no concept of time while I'm doing that because I'm not existing in time. So I'm guessing I'm living longer because I'm not experiencing time. Especially like on the open invitation. You know, the one I did for 3 hours, I said, oh, how long was that? Like an hour and 20 minutes? No, 3 hours. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's impressive. Do you find if you're hydrated, it helps like beforehand?
Well, I
Because
drink more than 2 gallons of water a day. So we're talking about
yeah,
9 liters or more.
you've you're well
Oh, wow.
hydrated.
Yeah. And I don't, if I can help it, I don't drink any chlorinated water. So I'm only drinking distilled water and then I add my own minerals to it. Right now I have fulvic acid, which I add. And then I switch off whenever that bottle's done, then I'll order some humic minerals to add to it, which are more for removing the heavy metals and that kind of stuff.
I haven't heard of humic.
Yeah. Yep. It's just a bunch of details, a bunch of minerals and stuff. And thank you, Anand. And yeah, and then I've just been reminded that I need to get some more milk thistle too, because it does the finishing job to get the rest of the stuff out of your liver. Liver or kidneys. I think it's the liver.
Liver.
So, yeah, I had a personal session with Ra after I did my detox, and I said, hey, what else do I need to do? And he says, you need 60 days of, or 30 days of milk thistle. So I think I'm going to go do that again too. Thanks for bringing that up so I could get that information. I have to write that down. Dun dun dun. So did the Equium have any real lesson or anything to impart to us? I know they said that I there was something they said that was interesting, but I don't remember what it was. Can can you tell us something that was interesting about what the Equium said?
Sorry, I missed that, Ray. I just walked out and came back.
Oh,
What
oh
was
no,
the
I was just curious because I don't remember a whole lot now at this point.
I
What?
just sent you a message on to your private Facebook chat.
Oh, cool. Then I
So
guess I will know more about what the Equium said.
yeah, I've written down there what I could get.
Oh, cool. And actually, I'll look at the transcript. I'm just curious. Oh, and I don't know if their name is rooted in Latin, but it seemed like it was an appropriate word for what was going on. So thank you for that.
They have no real past history or evolution, they just are. They absorb the sun, play games, and share mental thoughts. They dare not be unthankful, for it would create their demise.
Marvelous. Like you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Giving me a playground and people to play with. Coronavirus. That's what the closed caption had to say. I'm not sure if that's what you said or not, Rachel.
I, I didn't send anything. I don't know what's going on. Did I just send something? I don't know what's going on.
No, neither does closed caption. It's okay. It's trying to learn.
I don't know. I'm literally just sitting here. So do 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 do. Mysteries. That's
Yeah,
interesting. You have to send it to me so I know what I sent.
it just
Beams
said that
across.
you said it had coronavirus because I have the closed caption up, and
I don't,
that's what it
yeah,
had for
okay.
you. And I was like, what?
Interesting.
Where in the hell did that come from?
I don't know.
I think it just made it up.
I think so.
I like it whenever it tries to interpret that people have light language and they go through and they do that stuff. And it'll have a couple of sentences and then it'll just say, oh, screw this, and it'll just delete them. It's like, we don't know what that was. Wow. Not even best guessed. They're just like, we give up.
Hmm.